So the way that he expresses himself is with art. He draws like 30 pictures a day, but you can't keep them all 30. It's not sustainable. I'd be filling up closets. So I have to throw away like 28, 29 of these at a time. But every now and then, right as I'm throwing them away, he'll bust me. You know how awkward that is? When you're looking at each other, as he's watching you throw away how he expresses himself in the world. So I don't know what to do. I panic and I get defensive. I'm like, oh, so now you make eye contact. How convenient. It does not bother me that he's autistic. It's always the things other people say, you know. Because they'll get this from time to time. I was talking to this lady. Came up, he was autistic. First thing out of her mouth was, is he high functioning? As if that doesn't put me in an awkward spot. Because they never stop and think, what if he's not? Before they ask that. They just fire off a question at the top of the spectrum. Then I got to figure out what to do with that. Is he high functioning? Well, I wouldn't say that, Becky. But based off the social skills you've displayed in this conversation, I don't think you are either. I don't like the way that people react to you when you take your autistic kid out in public, you know? Because kids on the spectrum, they're loud. They have no awareness. If they flip out, they don't care they're in a grocery store. But the way it looks to everybody else, it's just a regular kid that's completely out of control. So every now and then you get somebody who's feeling brave, and they'll say something. But there's nothing better than the moment you let them know they just criticize a kid with autism, seeing the look on their faces, they absolutely panic. It's so satisfying. I throw it out there whenever I can. And sometimes it doesn't apply 100%. But come on, what are we splitting hairs? Because they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, he's autistic. And they're like, okay, but sir, you still can't be in the women's locker room. He's half Filipino. That's right, I'm in an interracial marriage. But here's the thing, he looks full. This kid looks straight Asian. Do you understand? I know what you're thinking, I can see it on your faces. You're like, you need to go talk to your old lady. It's like, no, man. Now what happened is when our genes met in the womb to try and work it out, hers beat the snot out of mine. Like her DNA was smashing my DNA's face up against the inside of the egg, like, yeah. You're privileged on protecting you, you little punk. I hope you like rice. Here's my biggest frustration, hands down, is that people, they just don't get it. They see a situation, they don't have all the facts, and they just jump to conclusions. Like the other day, I'm in the grocery store parking lot. I'm just trying to get this kid in the car, man, and he's fighting me. But all anybody sees is a white guy shoving an Asian kid into the back of his car against his will, with whom he has no resemblance whatsoever. And I gotta be like, look, my son has autism. And this kid's gonna be his new friend. So, maybe a little less judging and help me with this spicy food. I'll leave you guys with this. I love being a comedian. It's a weird time, though. People freak out and just get so mad and over jokes. That's why I go by Pete Jr. on stage. People ask me, why should I use your last name? It's simple. I'm paranoid. I'm afraid somebody will try to track me down, get me fired over a joke. But here's the thing. My youngest son has autism. So if he did get me fired over a joke, that means I could not afford his autism program anymore. And he would ultimately be the one impacted. And I don't know what's worse, man. Getting somebody fired over a joke? Or using your son's disability to avoid the consequences of your actions? You guys ready for your headliner tonight? This guy's a crowd favorite. He's drive our comedy special seen millions of times. Top 10. Give it up for Tymon Shipp!
How are you guys? Give it up for Pete! Beautiful people. I love those smiles. Yes. Please smile at me. I came all the way from Los Angeles. Please. Yes, thank you. I love when we do that. that. I got out, I had to get through the Salt Lake City airport. Yeah, I aged 3 years getting out of that airport. That is the longest airport to get to your baggage and everything, is it not? Have you been there? And I don't know how the older people make it through, but they were moving pretty good. They were moving pretty good. One lady beat me with her walker, so I know. Don't worry about it, you know. I look, the weather is great here. The weather, I mean, I just left LA, it was warm, but you know, weather, you know, I used to live in Colorado, so, you know, I understand when it gets cold and everything, you know, especially out here. But, you know, our weather has been changing, especially when you look at all the, you know, the rain that some places have had. And I always try to understand where people are when they're dealing with certain weather. Like here we have, I know you guys have snow and sometimes black ice and things can get worse. But when you see flooding, and I've always tried to understand, if you see an F-150 stuck in the water, you're not making it through with a Prius. Why don't people understand that? Now your car is a submarine, even though you didn't want it to be that, but that's what it is right now. I don't know, the guy, especially in LA, when LA's, you know, freeways flood, it's the guy in the Porsche that thinks he's going to just blaze through. And it's like, no, you're going to lean over next to the Prius. I understand, you know. Like I drove out to, you guys been to Laughlin, Nevada? Have you been out to Laughlin? Yeah, that's an interesting place. I went there for the Alcohol Anonymous convention at the Riverside Casino. You're gonna have Alcohol Anonymous at a casino? Whose idea was this? All you see is people hitting cigarettes and they're spitting their lungs out, and you meet their lung before you meet them. Mary will be here in a minute, and I'm just her lung. I don't understand. I was sitting there. But on the way up driving the 15, I'm sure you guys have driven on the 15 before. You know, the winds were about 40 miles an hour, right? They're moving. You know, and your car's swerving and everything. I'm in the slow lane, and a guy pulls up in the fast lane, right? And it's, you know, he's in an SUV, you know, BMW, looking over at me, I look at him, and he looks over, and all of a sudden, he's got both hands on the wheel, but I see him lean over to let down his window. And he tried to spit a loogie out the window that came back in, whap, and hit him right in the face. And he went, whoa, and I was laughing so hard, I almost wrecked my own car. You can't spit in 45 mile an hour wind. It's coming back to see you, or it's going to be over your windshield. Yeah. It's like, you know, I went, you guys golf? You guys anybody here golf? Yeah. You ever play golf in high wind? Yeah, you ever have that friend that doesn't want to wait till you get to the next tee to go to the bathroom? He thinks he's just going to jump off and use the bathroom. And I said, no, man, just wait. There's a restroom. No, I got to go. And he goes behind the tree. And, you know, when he comes back, he's soaked. And he's wondering why. Can you believe this? Yes, I was behind a tree. You could have been in the bushes. It wouldn't have mattered. There's wind out here. Now you got to walk in the wind till you dry. I'm telling you, we're trying to help people. I think it's time to thin the herd. I know you've thought about it, haven't you? Don't look at me like I'm crazy, because I know you thought it's time to get rid of some of them. Yeah. I mean, let me ask you a question. Why do we have to keep putting signs up for people not to do dumb things? Why do we have to tell people not to take selfies with buffalo? Why do we have to do this? And they go right out. There are signs everywhere at Yellowstone Park. Please do not take selfies with buffalo. And people are like, girl, get a picture with me with the buffalo. And the buffalo sees you coming over. And it's like, no, those humans again, there they come. I have to show them. And then knocks her 30 feet. He's like, oh my God, I got hit by a buffalo. Did you get it so I can put it on Facebook? That's when we know we have a problem. You knew you got hit by, but you were just worried about Is it going to be on Facebook? Yeah. And you're telling us we're worried about AI, artificial intelligence. Have you heard this? Yeah. No, we should be worried about natural stupidity. That's your problem. That is your problem. There are people taking pictures of their feet on Facebook. Why? What is it with the feet? Now, I know some of us believe we have nice feet, but some of us don't. And they don't need to be out. If you can tap your toes, and you think it's not the toes hitting, but it's your toenails hitting the cup, you don't need to have those being taken pictures of. That's dangerous. No. Yeah. There's a woman from Ohio selling her farts in a jar for $50. Who is buying these? Please. I'm in the wrong business. Somebody's making good money. Did you ever think of someone doing this? And they're men. See, this is the problem with men. They're buying them. How are you going to explain it? What do you got there? I got this beautiful blonde has some fart in the jar. What's over there? The bath water? What is that? What's wrong? Is this where we are? My niece. You know, we have to help these young folks sometimes. Bought a new house. Furnished the whole house, the whole kit and caboodle. Took pictures of the house. All the inside, the furniture, bragging and everything. And 2 weeks later, she was robbed. She said, "Oh my God, I've been robbed. I wonder how this happened." You didn't think that all those pictures you took? Like, "Hey guys, come on in. This is my address. Come on over." And rob my home. It's like, don't do that. It's not smart. No, I think we're really in trouble. Like, we spend a lot of money on things you wouldn't think that we would spend money on. Like, you know, we put money on surveys. We spent $50 million on a survey to find out the 10 most dangerous foods you should not eat while driving. What do you think number one on the list is? Give me some food.
Soup.
French fries. Soup. What is it? Hamburger. Number one on the list, ribs. Ribs will kill you. They had a brother up near Northern California, 10-car pileup, ribs all over the freeway. 3 of them down his throat. You can't dip ribs and drive. Can't be done. But that wasn't what blew me away. What blew me away was number 2 on the list. Number 2 on the list, French fries. Yes. Can you imagine you're in your car, you're driving, you're doing about 75. You have your French fries and you're eating them, and one of them drops down between your legs. Now you have a whole bag of fries here, but you want that one fry that just keeps eating up under your butt. I don't know why you want it. You got a whole bag right here, but you don't want them. You want that one fry. You're doing 75. You're trying to drive, you're trying to do this, you don't want and everything, and you're trying to get this one fry. Let it go. It will still be warm and you can eat it later. It's sitting under your butt and it's okay. We spent money on this. And food is dangerous. People don't think about how dangerous food is, do they? Everybody can't cook, right? Do you eat everybody's food? Do you have that co-worker at your job you look at him and you go, "No, you probably don't want to eat what he brought in." These are those co-workers that they do. You ever do a potluck at your job? Where you did a potluck? You have potlucks? Do you eat all of your co-workers' food? You don't, do you? You ever see that casserole surprise sitting in the corner? That's green. That's that same casserole that if you eat that, you know, that's when you go to the bathroom, you gotta take all of your clothes off to use the bathroom. And you go, "Gee, ooh, that's hot, man." You know, you're taking off your shoes, everything, your shirt. Before you know it, you're fully unclothed because you're sweating. from what this person brought. If the dog won't eat it, that should tell you something. If that's the case, give it to your supervisor. Take him out. But don't give it to your coworkers, man. Don't do that. Yeah, I think, I really believe we're in trouble. Because people are just doing things we're never going to understand. Some things have stayed the same, but some things haven't. This whole thing, like in LA, there's this whole lip thing. Have you seen the lips, ladies? When people are getting these giant lips, and they go, I was at a party, I talked to 4 women, all of them, their lips were so huge, they could barely open their mouth. Adam, that's what you say? Adam, really, Adam, stand. They started sounding like Mushmouth off Fat Albert. Adam. And I was just like, no, leave it alone. Leave yourself. In LA, it's hard to tell them to leave themselves alone. Because they spend thousands of dollars. Just enjoy your beauty. You have natural beauty. Leave it alone. Don't keep, touching. Like my niece is into the piercing. She's got all these piercings. What do you guys think of all the piercings? Don't you think it's a bit much? My niece has that ball and chain where the ball swings when you talk to her. And I said to her, and you're just sitting there, you're following the ball. And I said to her, can you just stick that ball in your nose for now so I can have a conversation with you? It's just too much, It's just, And I'm telling you, I love young people, but if I see another guy with bones in his nose and his ears looking like Mumbutu, what is going on? Come on, I can't get a job. Really? You mean they're not hiring mutants? I'm sorry. Yeah, my nephew put skateboard wheels in his ears. Really? Yes. He doesn't know when he hits 60, he'll be able to put his arm through his earlobe. I'm telling you, we're in trouble. I just think it's, we got a lot to work on. I don't know. And I try to find ways, because Utah has beautiful, outdoors is beautiful. Man. You love going, and my friends always say, Tommy, you need to get out, see the outdoors, get into it. I just don't want to get lost. Because, in LA and everywhere, people go out in California, all you hear about is, oh, he got lost. Couldn't find him, he got lost. Look, they don't find many brothers in the woods. I don't want to be the first one that they don't find. I don't want that. You seen any black people out here? No, we haven't seen any. You don't want to do that. Because I was reading an article about a guy who was a freehand climber, right? And he's a professional climber. Yeah. Which means he uses no rope. He climbed the highest peak at Yosemite National Park, and he fell 1,000 feet. And his family wants to do an autopsy. Why? His brother was on the Today Show. Well, we want to know, was anyone with him, or did he say anything? Yes, he did. Hollered all the way down. Called his mom, dad, somebody help me. But my brother was a thrill seeker. No, your brother was a fool. He had no rope. Don't they understand that when you're that high up, a bird could, like an eagle, could crap on your forehead and just knock you off because you're not holding by rope. That's 1,000 feet up before you get hit and knocked off your cliff. Don't do it. No. I don't mind hiking. Hiking's good. I don't mind the hiking, but no, I still don't have to go with people because, nowadays we hear about the coyote in your yard. Did you hear about the guy who has a bear up under his house? Big giant bear. Well, we're going to get him out of there. I think you should leave her alone. Some people go, I'm going to get that bear out of there. No, you're not, because you end up to make her mad. She'd really come up through your floor. You're really going to have a problem. You don't mess with 3,000-pound animals. I don't know why folks are doing that. Yeah, it's been weird out there. I come here, and one thing I love, didn't see any car chases out here. I love that. Man, just peaceful. LA, I'm always dealing with car chases. You I don't know why they think they're going to get away. You got a helicopter above you. You got cars behind you, cop cars behind you. I'm just waiting for the carnage to happen because it's going to happen. You know, then the guy ends up sliding up under a truck or running into a wall, and then you hear him, when they interview the guy, he says, I almost got away. No, you didn't. No. We were just doing this, for good television. That's why we were watching. And people really watch them. In LA, they watch car chases. They'll stop the news. There's another car chase. Okay. Can we see what happened? Who won the basketball game? No, the car chase is more important. That's what they put out. And I'm telling you, we're in real trouble going around, And it's this whole thing also. I don't watch, do you guys watch reality TV? Yeah? You do? Anything good? Like what are you watching? 1,000 Ways to Die? Why are we watching that show? I saw some woman trying to give mouth to mouth to a possum. Only people on acid do stuff like that. No. Leave the possum got hit, that's it. You're going to get run over. One of my buddies had me watching that one prison show, where the guys are on death row. And there's a guy who's about to receive lethal injection. And just as they're putting the needle in his arm, they swabbed his arm with alcohol. Why? We don't want him to get an infection. Yes, we do. He's been here a while. No. Every day is something new. Yeah, they just came out with I think this major college came out where they're measuring flatulence. They got these new pants or boxers that you can wear, and they measure flatulence. More money being spent. Nothing on cancer or anything like that. You want to know how many times you blow wind. Why do we have to know this? This is what we're spending money on. I'm trying to understand. I read a lot. You guys read a lot? Yeah. I'm working with some young people at my job. I should tell you where I work. I work for LA County Probation Department, Juvenile Hall. Yeah, I worked almost 40 years, dealing with juvenile criminals, murderers, rapists, gangbangers, pedophiles. The whole word. We try and help them, try to get them jobs, try to work, but it's tough. It's tough doing it because you have to deal with, when I'm in LA, I always tell people, if I have a group of people and they ask me questions, I always tell them, if you'd like for me to say hello to any of your family members or friends, I will. Little Pookie, Ray Ray, Boo Boo, Nana, Angel. Every angel I know is a murderer. I don't know why parents name their children Angel. You just set him up for failure. No, because I talked to some great, beautiful young black kids named Socrates and Aristotle. I said, hey man, your mom named you after famous philosopher. Famous what? I said, famous philosopher. He said, no, I was named after my uncle. I said, stand over there next to Toilet. That's right. I worked with him for over an hour. I said, hey man, what's your name? Sir, my name is Toilet. How do you spell that? T-O-I-L-E-T. That's toilet, fool. No, you gotta put an apostrophe. Apostrophe is nothing, that's toilet. Mom wasn't very good in school, but I know that's toilet. Is that toilet to you? Toilet. No, you're not saying it right. Toilet. I don't care how you say it. Can't make it up, I'm telling you. I talked to a kid the other day, I only had one arm. I asked him, why are you in? He said, armed robbery. I had to walk out of the room so I could laugh. You gotta laugh. Because this is crazy. We just like, why are you no? Stop it. Yeah. Parents are no different. Go down to the beach and parents are putting leashes on their children. They're walking their kids. Give them some slack, Bill. Come on, give them some slack. Get him on out there. boy wraps himself around the tree. Mommy, help me! Yeah, and she's walking the dog, walking the kid, walking the dog, walking. You hear her go, Hill! Hill! The dog's looking at the kid. She talking to you, she talking to me. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah. And I should tell you guys also about myself. I just recently turned 61. Yeah. And since turning 61, I found out some things. I found out there's a fine line between cuddling and holding someone down and choking them. Yes. I found out that they say that stupidity is hereditary sometimes. Yeah. I just found out also being 61 is when your body starts to prepare you for really when you're going into really getting older. You know? Like like my body talks to me. Some of you guys, I'm sure, you guys don't have to worry about that. Your body's not talking to you. But my body talks to me. And it makes a beautiful sound of clicking and popping and clicking and popping and clicking. Snap, crackle, pop, snap, crackle. You know, and when I sit down, my knees sound like shotgun. And my girl is like, what was that noise? That was just the shotguns and my knees going off. Yeah, so you're getting older. And my friends talked me into going out. They said, Tymon, you need to play basketball. You know, get back out there, man. Yeah, you're only 61. Get back out there and play some hoop. You know, and I got out there and I did. I'm out there playing. I made a couple of jumpers, and then it was a breakaway. And when I was a kid, I could fly. I mean, I had some hops, as they would say. I thought I was Dr. J back in the day, Julius Erving. You know, and in my brain said, yeah, Ty, plant that foot and rise like you're used to. And the rest of my body decided to have a meeting. And you heard it. It started with my foot. Okay, foot. The foot's like, hey, ankle, what's going on? Yeah, man. The brain's got him talking crazy again. Yeah, well, don't worry, man. I'm with you. If he even plant that foot, man, I'm buckling. You buckling? Yeah. Knee, how you doing? Oh, yeah. Don't worry, man. I'll probably go right. Hip, how about you? I'm going, man. I'm with you. Anywhere you guys want to go, I'm with you. And then, you know, and my body told me, you better just lay that ball up and tell your ego to shut up. And that's what that is. That's ego. Yeah, that's ego, you know. Yeah. I try to, you try to get out, you still try to exercise, eat right, you know, but you get stuff like GERD. Anybody ever got GERD? Acid reflux. Have you heard about this acid reflux? Yeah, anybody got any Tums? You got a Tum today? See, you know what I'm talking about. Hey man, you like fast food? Yeah, don't keep eating, bro. I'm telling you. Yeah, my favorite meal was a quarter pounder with cheese, large fry, and a Coke. That was my meal. Yeah, and they let me know. Yeah, Ty, keep putting this in here. Yeah, and you get that thing in there and that burning in the chest. Yeah, you have to stop. Can't eat the way I used to. I love sausage. Love some good sausage. Can't eat it. You know, feet swell up. Can't do it. You know, nowadays I just worry about breathing. That's all I focus on. Breathe? Yeah, breathe. You know, I think about fiber. Yes. How many guys think about fiber? Do you think about fiber? Fiber's our friend. Yes, we need fiber. You go to your doctor. You need fiber, Ty. That's what you need. You need fiber. That's all they tell me. Don't tell you anything else. Don't eat this thing. You get enough fiber? Yeah. Hey, take these pumpkin seeds. You know, then next year, give me these chia seeds. You know, just add them on. All it is. That's what I have to worry about. That's the only good thing about going is just go and let them know you need to keep going to the bathroom. That's it. Nothing more, nothing else to do. Just keep going to the bathroom. Yeah. But I've learned. Been with my girlfriend for 4 years now. Yeah. Met her on Facebook app. Can you believe it? I met her on. They actually have an app that's pretty decent. Because a buddy of mine met his girl on Facebook app. And then for some reason our other friends said, I went on there, and it's not the same. Well, maybe we got the last 2 that were on there. I can't guarantee that it's going to keep happening, Because women, their profile is they're pretty serious. A lot of women have standards. There are some standards that are just, out of control, that they're just not going to happen. Like 6'4" and solid, ripped like, The Rock. If I hear about The Rock one more time, girl, he just fine. The Rock, The Rock. You don't even have to say anything. And it's the tattoos. My girl asked me, how come you don't have any tattoos? I have burns. Does that count? I have a 2nd-degree burn on my leg. Does that count? Isn't that hard? That's being hard. Rough guy. Yeah. Burn with chicken grease. There you go. That's tough. Yeah, I'm tough. Yeah. Let's see the Rock get a burn with chicken grease and last. Yeah. I was 8 years old. Hey. Yeah, that's it. I'm still standing. I screamed a little bit, but I'm still here. Yeah. And then, also, I grew up at a time, also you guys think, but we grew up at a time when things have really changed. I was talking to my nephews, and they're great kids. And my nephew, he asked me, his birthday came, and he asked me, he said, hey, what do you want for your birthday? He said, I'm gonna give you some jeans. So I gave him some money for some jeans. I saw him, probably, a week later. And next day I said, hey man, did you get your jeans? Oh yeah, I'm wearing them. And I looked down at his jeans, and he had holes in the knees. He had holes in the crotch. I said, you bought those? Oh yeah, $125. I said, boy, I got jeans like that at home. I could have gave you those. I wore them out. I could have gave you my jeans. You didn't have to sit there all day and do this. Oh no, you don't understand. These are Sean Johns. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's like, what is that, the Yeezys, Kanye? If I see another kid quoting Kanye, and he was selling his tennis shoes. I think some guy at my job bought a pair for $3,000. Yeah, all red Yeezys. And I had to tell him, I said, you can get those in the Philippines for $1.25. He said, what? I said, yeah, they're made for $1.25, yes. Yeah, you gotta teach them. They don't know, they don't read. Young kid at my job saw, saw on my desk. He said, what's that shit? I said, it's a book. He said, you read, bro? Yeah, I read. You read? No. Reading's boring. I said, don't you have a degree? Yeah. Okay, that's why I said we're in trouble. Yeah, you have a degree. Yeah. The person with the OnlyFans has a house, and the guy with 2 degrees is working as a barista. Where did we go wrong? I don't know how we did that, huh? That's interesting to me. But my mom, I guess when you get older, dating is tough because nobody really wants to date when you go. My mother went out on several dates, and the guy that she had a crush on, his name was Charles, and they had made a beautiful date to go out, and my mom was in there getting prepared, and all of a sudden I get, the phone rings, and I picked the phone up and I said, hello, hello, yeah, this is Charles. Charles, is Robert there? And I said, hey, Ma, telephone. She comes in, fixes the phone. Charles, you on your way? No, Rose. I went to the bathroom and I sneezed and my teeth popped out and I flushed them. And my mom said, as she's laughing, she said, that's the first, that's a good one. That's the first time I heard that line to get out of a date. That's a good one. Because I guess she didn't want to go out. But, what are we going to do? What are we going to do, huh? Yeah, so, and I think about, that day, because me and my girl, we get along great. Our first date, we went out and had coffee. And my friends are like, you went for coffee? Yeah. You can get to know the person. Isn't that right? Don't you want to have a conversation? Women, don't you want to date a guy that's got a brain? girl is shocked that I know how to put dishes in a dishwasher. Blows her away. Oh my God, how did you do that? She was really blown away that I knew how to take the dryer filter out and clean it off and put it back. She said, now make sure you change that filter. I had it in my hand. Oh my God, you are a unicorn. I'm going to keep you. You really know what you're doing. Yes. I know how to do a few things. Now, if you ask me to go and, change a motor, that ain't going to happen. I can change a tire. My dad didn't teach me. My dad had an 8th grade reading average. He could go into a junkyard and build a car. That guy was amazing. He did carpentry, was in World War II, did everything. Yeah, but he didn't teach me anything. He would show up to my games and heckle me when I played football. He didn't do that. I don't know if you've ever had a father, you can't catch, fool. Your mama went out and bought you a pair of $55 spikes. What for? Your brother James stole 117 bases barefooted. He didn't need no shoes. What do you need shoes for? Oh yeah, he didn't. My mom bought me some spikes, and he thought that's crazy. Most kids, were wearing Chuck Taylor tennis shoes. Yeah, they got my tennis shoes down at the grocery store. They were hanging on meat hooks next to the bologna. They called them cold cut tennis shoes. My mom would go in there, Bill, give me a pound of that bologna and a pair of those cold cut tennis shoes up there. Yeah. But we were different. I'm number 7 of 8 kids. I am the uncle of over 40 nieces and nephews. Yeah. And I don't know all their names. I don't. Because they give them those names, Janae. Yeah, what is that? Zamir, Zion, Dejanay, all day long. Why would you give a name to a child that she's going to have problems pronouncing her own name? What did you say your name was again? Dejanay? Yeah, just something. Just have her put an X down, I guess. And I make them wear identification cards. Come here, let me see who you are. Everybody says Uncle Tymon, Uncle Tymon. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of them. So I don't, and I don't have any children. Yeah, I probably would have gotten rid of mine a long time ago. Yeah, because like I said, I work at juvie, so I've had to talk to more parents that want to ask me how to deal with their teenage child who doesn't want to follow their rules. Woman said her daughter kept stealing her car at night, sneaking out. And she said, we can't spank our children, we can't truly discipline them. I said, but you can pepper spray them if you want. Yes, you can. She steals your car, you sit in the dark in her room. When she gets home, click, oh, Jesus. That's pepper spray, dear. Yeah, they say we can pepper spray it. Don't steal my car again. Have a nice night. That's how you deal with them. You don't have to put your hands on your children. Don't do this. Don't. And let me tell you, because they're going to push you to the limit. Yeah, I had to teach kids, how to, I taught them how to brush their teeth. I showed them how to clean up their room, how to scrub floors, how to wipe things down. Yes, sir, no, sir. Discipline and structure is a beautiful thing if you do it right. And you can make it fun. Because I told a lot of stories. I talked about life. I talked about when I was a kid. I said, you guys are really getting away. He said, really? I said, yeah. I said, you can't tie your child to a tree anymore and leave him out there all night. You can't do that anymore because he didn't cut the grass. You can't do that. Now there's this discussion, and they want to, they can lawyer up now. Everybody have a lawyer now. I'm going to sue you. Okay. It's like that, my sister is allowing her step-grandson, to stay with her. He's an influencer. Have you met these guys? He's, oh, yes, sir, I give advice, influencing. You live in my sister's basement. What are you influencing? You don't have a job. Influence yourself a job. When you influence a job, then you can give out advice, homie. Don't be sitting there, you sitting at home in the basement in your underwear and you're giving out advice. Whether they really get a load of you and you don't know nothing. He came up with an argument stating, well, I didn't ask to be here. Why do I have to get a job? I said, now you think that's genius, don't you? He said, yeah. Why do I have to go to work? I didn't ask to be here. I said, well, then we can also get rid of you. There are ways of getting rid of you. Really? Yes. So you have to make them think. He didn't like when I told him, figure it out. You ever say that to a kid? Figure it out. I want you to use that great, beautiful brain you have right there so you can achieve what you want. Because we were told that the cell phone was supposed to make your life more convenient, right? They said that. And we found out that it's more of an inconvenience. You ever see your kids shut you off? My nephew told me, you don't really know how to work a cell phone. I said, yeah, and you can't read a clock. That's right, you can't read an analog clock. What is analog? There we go. Now we're talking, buddy. You keep just get your pen and paper out. So we're gonna start teaching some things. Class has already started for you. Yeah, I said you have to keep them focused, because that cell phone, man, that cell phone is something else. And I'm not good at it, I'll admit. Who's good at it? You guys good at cell phones? No, you're not good at cell phones. Look, we just want to call, right? You just want to call. You don't want to do all this texting. Like some kids are in the restaurant and they're standing right next to each other and they're texting each other. They won't talk to each other. They're texting. And I thought, hey, why don't you guys? Oh, that's so boring. No. They'd rather just text. Or they get mad if you call them. My niece, if I call her, she won't answer. And then she'll text me, do you need anything? You mean you've been there the whole while? Well, yes. What do you want? Oh, okay. Well, that play you wanted to go to? Yeah, you're not going. Okay. So you pick up that phone and talk to me. Oh, you guys just want to talk. Yes. That's how you're going to learn. I don't know. Like my girlfriend's daughters ask her, how'd you do this? Single mom, put 2 kids through college, made sure that everybody's got a car and everything, and now you're living on your own, and, her other daughters, she's got 2 grandkids, and so she's like, how did you do this? She said, I just put my head to the grindstone and kept rolling. Really? Yes! I figured it out, as I keep telling you. So, this is so hard. I don't know what to do. No, you just need to do it. And they make good money, too. She did well with her kids. I said, I've talked to kids that, no, you're not getting anywhere with them. No. Mm-mm. I said, really? Yeah, I've talked to kids that you're nearly not gonna get to them, especially when they want to tell you about life. I had a 14-year-old said, dude, you don't get me, bro. You adults don't understand us, bro. I said, you know what? You're right. I don't understand you. You have a 20-inch waist. You're wearing a size 50-inch pair of pants with a belt that wraps all the way around your body and a shirt that goes down to your knees. And you say, I'm cool. No, you're stupid. You don't know your size. You're dumb, boy. You can't be a good criminal running down the street. But you can't leap a fence in baggy pants. I saw some cops chasing some kids. They got hooked on the fence and everything they stole was just falling out. I said, there they are, officer, right over there. Or like in LA, we got kids that they do all this tagging. I noticed here in Provo, I didn't see any tagging. It's like, you guys are doing it right. You need to pass this on to other cities. No tagging. LA puts barbed wire around their freeway signs. Why? Because we never thought that some kid would climb up on a freeway sign and want you to know who he is. He's not very smart because he put 5 S's in Stevie. Not going anywhere. One of the craziest things, I went to Home Depot, and I was going there to get, to get me some spray paint. I had a project at the house I was going to work on, going to spray paint a table. And when I got to the spray paint cage, there was a security guard there. And he said, "Hold up, sir. Can I see some ID?" I said, "ID? Yes." I said, "Hey man, shouldn't you be guarding the axes and the hammers?" I saw somebody in here with a hockey mask on. Somebody's going to go tonight. "Sir, can we get you?" No! Yeah, I didn't understand that. Spray paint cage. It's and I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, in California, we legalize weed. And it's not enough. Now they're doing mushrooms, and they're doing Molly, and they're doing, what is it? And this other drug where they're eating their roommates. What is that? That's not getting high. That means there's something wrong with you. They're just drinking some Mad Dog and throwing up. What's going on? No, it's, you guys just don't get us. No. And they don't make good criminals anyway. I always believe you can't be a good criminal and have medical ailments. It doesn't work. Would you agree? I was talking to some gangbangers. Have you guys ever talked to gangbangers? No? You ever play Scrabble with gangbangers? That's interesting. They make up words like yahan. Yahan? I said, yahan is not a word. Yahan is. Put that in the sentence. Yahan, we was going. You say yahan. No, you're not. And I would just quit. I would get frustrated. And they thought that they won. So I'm talking to the gangbangers and everything, and he said to me, "Yes, sir, I robbed 9 liquor stores. I would have got away with my 10th one if I'd have had my inhaler." If you can't breathe, you shouldn't be robbing people. He was wheezing with the gun. Stick him. And he's hanging out with the epileptic kid. They thought he had a machine gun. He hit lights and dog. Take your medication before you decide to rob people. You know, it's good. I would have got away. You wouldn't have gotten. You can't breathe. The cops got there. He was on the ground with the gun. We got another one here. Right there he is, right there. Yeah. Not good. Not good criminals. No, you're not. Yeah, and you try. You try and work with them. We got some kids, some jobs at Starbucks. Thought it'd be the best thing. Couple, and they got fired. And they wanted to attack the manager. I said, "Why would you guys want to attack him?" "He fired my boyfriend." I said, "Why did he fire him?" "This kid shaved his head and tattooed devil horns on his skull." And I just looked at her and said, "Young lady, people don't want a latte from Satan." Can you imagine you've been out all night and you come in the morning and the devil is serving coffee? "We have that devil's food cake for you. Would you like that milk steamed?" Shh. Don't do this. You should not be doing this, And you just need to, work with them. We do work with them. We try and, get them to do certain things, but they don't want to. And all of a sudden, so what probation did is that they made sure that even though a kid had committed murder, they wanted to make sure he would still have activities. So they made sure that murderers could swim. Yes, 9 murderers went swimming, only 8 came back. And the guy says to me, "Can you believe this happened?" "Yes, somebody's going to die." And I don't know why I have to to explain that to people. Why they just don't understand that this is going to happen. You know. Everybody says, you don't get it. So I've been working, and you guys probably know stuff like this. I've been working with my buddy. He's trying to get his mom to stop driving. His mom's 85 years old. And he said, I'm a good driver. I don't know why. This is a big to do. And she was determined to tell him, I am a good driver. Now, I've only hit 2 people in my lifetime. And I waited. I didn't hit and run. I waited for them to pull that man out of the windshield. And I said, see, that's why they don't want you driving. Yeah, they don't want you driving. And everybody's telling us to move to different cities. Living here seems real quaint. I don't see anyone telling you guys to move anywhere. They've been telling people in LA to leave LA, right? I said, well, where do you want them to move, right? I'm sitting there reading an article on it. They said, well, what? I said, where? So they put some states down. They put down Mississippi. Have you been to Mississippi? There are people in Mississippi that can't spell Mississippi. Mississippi is where they have, women with names like Bubba. A man in Mississippi was murdered. He was stabbed 24 times in the back. And the police believe it's a possible suicide. That's Mississippi. My sister lives in Florida. She said, oh, you should move to Florida. Florida's beautiful. Yeah. I visited her in Florida. A man in Florida was arrested. And he said the drugs that were found in his butt were not his. And they interviewed him. Mr. Williams, these your drugs? No, this is not my drug. Mr. Williams, we found these drugs in your behind. He said, I must have been asleep. Ladies and gentlemen, we all sleep very hard. But would you know that someone is doing something, right? So I'll say this and I'll go because you guys have been an amazing audience. Been an amazing audience. To deal with my stress at my job, I went down. My friends wanted me. They told me you should go get you a dog. I said, really? I said, yeah. She'll get you. Do you guys dog lovers? Yeah. What kind of dog do you have? A what? A canine? AI? Oh, you have a robot dog. Holy moly. That's a first. That is a first. She is now into the future. You do not have to worry about her. She's got an AI dog. I never thought I'd see that one, but okay. Yeah. Well, good for you. Yeah. And you don't have to take him outside, do you? No. Good. That's smart. You guys are smart. Yeah. I see you. I thought that's what I heard. AI. Yeah, AI dog. So I went down to the pound, guys, and got me a dog. Yes, you didn't have to deal with that. Went down and got me a beautiful Labrador and Pit Bull mix. Yes. Named her Sasha. Yeah. Paid $60 for Sasha. Sasha did $7,000 with the damage to my home. Showing on sprinkler system, eating gravel, digging ditches so deep, I had Chinese people in my backyard. You guys have been a wonderful audience. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you. Thank you.
Tymon Shipp, let him hear it one more time. Did you have a good time tonight? Thanks so much for coming out. Check out Driver coming for future shows. Drive home safe.